Let me ask you something, not casually, but seriously. How much of your life have you been slowly destroying without even realizing it? See, most people don't crash all at once. They don't wake up one day and find everything ruined. No, what happens is far more dangerous. They drift, bit by bit, quietly, silently. Habits so subtle, so routine, so normalized that you don't even see the damage. Until it's too late, you keep scrolling. You keep waiting. You keep tolerating people who drain your soul. And you tell yourself, I'll fix it soon. But soon becomes someday, and someday becomes never. The truth is this. It's not the big disasters that ruin your life. It's the small decisions you repeat every day without questioning them. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can ignore this message like all the others you've skipped through. Or you can lean in, listen with your soul, and confront the habits that are stealing your peace, your power, and your potential. This isn't motivation, this wake-up call. Because if you don't identify and break these 9 habits, they will break you. So don't just watch this speech, feel it, live it. Because what I'm about to share can either save the next 10 years of your life or cost you everything. Let me tell you something you need to hear. Procrastination isn't a joke. It isn't harmless. It's not just taking a break or waiting for the right time. It's a killer. A silent, slow, creeping killer of dreams, momentum, and self-worth. You think you're just putting something off, a task, a conversation, a workout, a decision. What you're really doing is telling yourself, I don't believe in me enough to act right now. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you train your brain to become weaker today. You condition yourself to settle. And the danger is, it doesn't scream, it whispers. You don't feel it wreck your life in a loud explosion. You feel it in those quiet mornings where your fire is gone. You feel it in those nights where you know you could have done more but didn't. You feel it when the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider every day. Some people wait for motivation. They sit around hoping that inspiration will come knock on their door like it's Amazon Prime. But that's not how it works. Action creates clarity. Action creates momentum. Motivation is a result of movement, not the cause. You got to get up and move even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because that's when growth happens. That's when character is built. That's when your life begins to shift. The scariest part of procrastination is how normal it becomes. You don't even realize it's a habit because it disguises itself as rest or thinking time or perfectionism. But behind the mask, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being judged. So you delay, you scroll, you distract, and the things you know would transform your life, your health, your business, your purpose, just sit there waiting on the other side of your excuses. And let's be honest, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be something, fatigue, doubt, discomfort, uncertainty. You think you're waiting on the right moment, but the right moment is waiting on you. Your destiny doesn't come to the passive, it comes to the persistent, to the one who shows up when it's hard, to the one who pushes forward even when they're scared out of their mind. So I want you to decide right now, not later, not tomorrow, right now. Are you going to keep letting procrastination destroy you one delayed day at a time? Or are you going to rise up, face the resistance, and take back control? Because your life doesn't change when you think about it. It changes when you move. And if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. You want to know what's really sabotaging your life? It's not just what's happening around you. It's what's happening within you. It's that voice, that quiet, constant, nagging voice in your head that tells you you're not enough, that you'll never make it, that you always screw things up. Most people don't even realize they're being controlled by it. They've heard it for so long, they've started believing it's the truth. But let me tell you, it's not the truth. It's a habit. Negative self-talk is one of the most destructive forces in your life. And the worst part is, it's invisible. It doesn't come with a warning label. It doesn't knock you over all at once. It wears you down like water over rock, slowly, quietly, day after day. It chips away at your confidence, your identity, your power. You think it's just a passing thought. But every time you let that thought slide, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, why? Even try. You're casting votes against the person you're trying to become. Your mind is always listening. And if you feed it poison, it will produce poison. You can't live a powerful life with a voice inside your head that constantly beats you down. You've got to catch that voice. You've got to call it out. You've got to fight for the version of yourself that's trying to break free from that mental prison. Because if you don't rewire the way you speak to yourself, you will never escape the cycles you hate living in. Here's the truth. That voice didn't start with you. It was programmed by your environment, your experiences, people who gave you their limitations and called it advice. But just because it was installed doesn't mean it can't be replaced. You weren't born thinking you weren't enough. You learned that somewhere, and now it's time to unlearn it. You've got to start interrupting the pattern. Every time you catch that negative loop starting, stop, replace it, reframe it, speak truth to it, and not just once, every day. You don't fix negative self-talk with one good thought. You fix it with a new standard, a new story, a new commitment to never let your mind bully your future again. Because if the enemy within wins, it doesn't matter what's happening outside. The battles we fight in silence are the ones that decide everything. You want to change your life? Start by changing the way you talk to yourself when no one's listening. Start by refusing to accept that voice as your reality. That voice is a lie. And your destiny is too big to be dictated by doubt. Don't just think better, speak better, live better. Because your words shape your world, and you deserve one that reflects your real power. Comfort is a drug. And just like any drug, it feels good at first. Safe, familiar, easy. But over time, it dulls your edge, weakens your spirit, and blinds you to what you're truly capable of. Every single time you choose what's comfortable instead of what's necessary, you're not just avoiding pain, you're avoiding growth. You're trading your future for a moment of ease. And that trade adds up day by day, decision by decision, until one day you look around and wonder why your life hasn't changed, why you're stuck, why you don't feel alive anymore. Let me be real with you. Strong people aren't born. They're built. And they're built in the moments when it would be easier to sit down, but they stand up. When it would be easier to give in, but they push through. Discomfort is the gym of the mind, the forge of the soul. The only way you grow is by stretching yourself beyond what's easy, beyond what's convenient. And yet we live in a world that's constantly selling comfort. Take the shortcut, find the hack, do what feels good. But you know what no one tells you? Comfort kills ambition. You don't grow when everything feels good. You grow when you're challenged, when your back's against the wall, when you feel resistance and keep going anyway. That's when you find out who you really are. That's when the weak version of you starts to die and the powerful version begins to rise. But here's the trap. Comfort is sneaky. It convinces you that avoiding difficulty is self-care, that staying in the same place is safe, that waiting until you're ready is wise. But the truth? That's just fear wearing a cozy disguise. Growth hurts. It stretches you. It demands more from you than you think you can give. And that's the point. That's where your breakthrough is hiding. You want a life that excites you? You want to become someone you're proud of? Then you've got to stop negotiating with comfort. You've got to get honest about where you've been selling, where you've been coasting, where you've been letting comfort steal your fire. Because nobody drifts their way into greatness. You climb, you fight, you stretch, you sweat. And every time you choose discomfort on purpose, You take back control from the life that's been numbing you into mediocrity. So ask yourself, what have you been avoiding that you know would change your life if you leaned into it? What habit, what challenge, what truth have you been running from because it doesn't feel easy? That's your doorway. That's your edge. That's your chance to become more. Step into discomfort because that's where your real life begins. Comparison is a game you will never win, and yet most people are stuck in it every single day. Silently, unconsciously, relentlessly measuring their worth by someone else's highlight reel. Where you scroll through social media, you see someone else's success, their relationship, their body, their car, their life, and suddenly yours doesn't feel like enough. But let me tell you something. Comparison is a thief. It doesn't just steal your joy, it steals your direction, your peace, your momentum. It convinces you to chase someone else's path while abandoning your own. What most people don't realize is that constant comparison is a habit. It's not just something that happens. It's something we practice. We rehearse it every time we pick up our phone and scroll without purpose. We rehearse it every time we walk into a room and instantly assess where we rank. We rehearse it every time we define our value by what someone else has or what someone else is doing. And over time, that habit becomes identity. You forget who you are because you're too busy trying to be someone you were never meant to be. Here's the truth. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not broken. You're on your own timeline. But the more you look left and right, the more you forget to move forward. You cannot become your highest self while being obsessed with someone else's journey. Their success has nothing to do with your worth. Their pace doesn't determine your potential. The world tries to convince you that life is a race, but the only person you're racing is who you were yesterday. And listen, I get it. It's easy to compare. It's everywhere. You see the perfect pictures, the perfect captions, the perfect lives. But that's not reality. Well, that's a filtered fraction of someone's story. You don't see their battles. You don't see their breakdowns. You don't see the nights they doubted themselves, the mornings they didn't want to get up, the effort it took to get there. And yet you compare your raw footage to their finished product. That's a losing game every time. The only antidote to comparison is ownership. Own your journey. Own your pace. Own your flaws, your strengths, your path, your process. When you fully embrace where you are, what you have, and who you are becoming, comparison loses its grip. Because now you're measuring progress, not perfection. You're looking inward, not outward. And that's where the shift happens. That's where you begin to build confidence that isn't shaken by someone else's success. So if you've been living in the shadow of someone else's life, it's time to step back into your light. Refocus, realign, recommit. Your life is too precious to waste it trying to live someone else's version of success. Turn down the noise, tune into your purpose, and never again let comparison steal what was meant to be yours. Your body is not separate from your dreams. It's the engine that drives them. And yet, one of the most overlooked, most underestimated habits that silently destroys people's lives is how they treat their health. Not with one big decision, but through 1,000 little choices made in silence. Skipping meals, sleeping too little, scrolling at 2 a.m., fueling your body with garbage, moving less and sitting more. You don't feel the damage right away, but over time, it accumulates. Until one day you wake up tired and stay tired. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. If you don't have energy, energy is the foundation of focus, drive, confidence, resilience, creativity, leadership, everything. And your energy doesn't just come from mindset, it comes from how you treat your body. You can have the most powerful intentions in the world, but if your body's running on fumes, you won't have the strength to execute them. Most people say they don't have time to eat clean or exercise or get good sleep, but they're lying. What they don't have is urgency because pain hasn't caught up to them yet, but it will. And when it does, It doesn't just take your health, it takes your momentum, your joy, your clarity, your fire. Success without vitality is a ticking time bomb. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't lead a full life with a broken vessel. Think about it. How often do you make your health the lowest priority, only to wonder why you feel anxious, unmotivated, or burned out? That's not a mindset issue, it's a physical crisis. Your brain needs movement. Your body needs rest. Your cells need quality fuel. You're not a machine, you're a living, breathing force of nature. But even the most powerful engine seizes up if it's neglected long enough. This isn't about looking a certain way or chasing vanity metrics. This is about longevity. This is about showing up with energy that matches your ambition. Because there's a direct connection between how you treat your body and how you show up in the world. Sluggishness isn't just physical. It bleeds into your decisions, your relationships, your mission. But when your energy is high, your state is high. And when your state is high, everything changes. Your attitude, your urgency, your creativity, your leadership, your drive. It doesn't take a total life overhaul. It takes one decision, one commitment to value your energy like it's your most sacred asset, because it is. Start small. Move your body. Drink water. Sleep with intention. Fuel like your goals depend on it, because they do. Your body is your power source, and if you want to build something great, you better take care of the foundation it stands on, because if you lose your energy, you lose your edge. Let me ask you something real. Who are you spending your time with? Who are you giving your energy to? Who's influencing your thinking, your decisions, your standards? Because the truth is, the people around you are either pulling you forward or dragging you down. There is no in between. And one of the most toxic, silent, habits-destroying lives today is the habit of keeping toxic relationships. Staying around people who drain your energy, blur your vision, and keep you small because it's comfortable, because it's familiar, because walking away feels hard. But here's what you've got to understand. Energy is contagious. Mindsets are contagious. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain, criticize, gossip, doubt, and settle, you'll start absorbing that frequency without even realizing it. You'll start shrinking your goals, second-guessing your gut, lowering your standards just to fit in. And over time, those small compromises stack up until the bold, brilliant, powerful version of you is buried under layers of other people's fear. You don't rise by staying loyal to environments that no longer serve you. You don't elevate by keeping people around just because of history. Just because you've known them for years doesn't mean they've earned a front row seat in your future. Some people were meant to be chapters, not lifetimes. And the sooner you let go of what's toxic, the faster you make room for what's aligned. Now look, I'm not saying cut people off without compassion. I'm saying protect your energy with intention. Audit your circle. Are they challenging you to grow or encouraging you to stay the same? Are they celebrating your wins or secretly resenting them? Are they walking with purpose or just wandering through life? Because if you're serious about becoming your best self, you can't afford to be casual about who you surround yourself with. Strong people know this. Proximity is power. Who you spend time with shapes what you tolerate, what you believe, what you pursue. If you want to go to the next level, you need to be around people who live at that level. People who think bigger, act faster, love deeper, lead stronger. You need to be around people who call you out, not just comfort you. People who don't let you coast when they know you're capable of climbing. And sometimes that means choosing loneliness for a season so you can create alignment for a lifetime. Sometimes that means walking away from what's easy to protect what's sacred. Your peace, your clarity, your future. Because your environment is either fueling your greatness or feeding your destruction. And you get to choose. Protect your circle, because your circle is shaping your destiny.